Now we are ready to get started on part 3 of testing your skills. All we have left to do is to add this feature here. Now I have seen many different approaches to adding this feature over the years. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step through these dimensions with you, but I'm not going to tell you how to create this. We're going to step through the dimensions. I'll have you pause the video. I'll have you create this on your own, and then come back to the video, and then I'll step through the same feature, and I'll show you my approach to creating it. So let's take a look at the dimensions. First, let's start with this 17. This 17 is from the end face of the part to the vertical face of this feature. That 17 does not include the 3mm boss. Then we have a dimension of 32. That's from this top face to the center line. Notice this feature in this direction is centered because of the dimension of 32, and the overall depth is 64. That means it's centered. But how deep is this feature? Well, notice these radiuses are tangent. The radius is 19, so that makes this feature 38. Next, I want you to notice that we have a dimension of 19. Now that does include the 3mm boss. So the thickness from here to here is only 16. The same is true for this side. And then we have a cutout which is 29mm wide. Notice from this face up to the center line is 25. Now students always ask me, what is this thickness here? The thickness is a difference between this number of 32 and 25. That thickness is 7. The two holes are in line, and they are a diameter A, which is 19. So now that you know where all of the dimensions are to and from, pause the video, add that feature, and then return, and then you can watch me step through the same features. Okay, now it's my turn. I am going to take the approach of creating this profile by creating a sketch in this direction. Because it's centered, I am going to look at my 3 primary planes. There's my front plane, top plane, right-hand side plane. In fact, if I make the right-hand side plane visible, you will see it runs right down the middle of the part. So that's going to be the plane I create my sketch on. So I'm going to select Extruded Boss. I'll then select the right plane. And then I'll select my line tool and create the basic shape. I'll draw my line back to the start point, so I have a closed profile. All of my automatic relations look great. So now I'm going to add some smart dimensions. Here's my 17 we talked about earlier. And then this dimension here, not 19. I am not going to include my bosses at this time. So I want to set this number to 16. The same here. The cutout in the middle is 29. And this distance here is a 7 that we talked about earlier. That's the 32 minus the 25. And it looks like I have a couple different heights here, which is not good. So I'm going to add a relation of collinear. And now let's add the height dimension from here to here. Now what should the height dimension be? Well, I'm going to take the dimension of 32 plus the radius of 19. And that will give us 51. And there's my sketch. Now I'm going to close out of the sketch. And I want to extrude about a midplane. And my depth of my extrusion is the radius times 2. So it's going to be 38. Close out of the boss extrude. And there's my basic feature. I'm going to select the fillet command. I'll select this face here. And then the second window, the top face. Third window, back face. There's my first fillet. I'll repeat that. And there's my second fillet. Next, I am going to add these bosses. A couple different ways you can do that. I'm just going to quickly add an extruded boss to this face. And we'll add a circle. wake up that center point. And it's always good practice to dimension it. However, because of those relations, it was already fully defined. So no need for dimension. I can simply extrude that boss for a distance of 3. Do the same on the opposite face. Wake up the center point. Close out of the sketch. Once again, a boss extrude distance of 3. And all we have left to do now is add the 2 holes. So this time, I am going to use an extruded cut feature. Select this face. Once again, wake up the center point, circles. This time I do need a smart dimension, and that diameter is 19. And then extrude cut that feature through all. And as we revolve the model, you will see that completes our model. In closing, many different approaches to creating this model. What we did here is we went through it methodically and created many sketches and many features. However, when you get more experience, you're going to be able to step through this model with about half those features you see in the Feature Manager tree. I took the approach, since you are new to the SOLIDWORKS software, to step through it in many sketches, many features. So what you want to do as a new user, don't worry about how long the Feature Manager tree is. Simply evaluate the part and step through it one sketch, one feature at a time. And as I said, when you get more time under your belt, then you can look at being more efficient.